Hello and welcome to Bromance of the Three Gamers. I am Michael.
I'm John.
And we are doing a little podcast thingy. Whee!
Again.
Yeah, again.
This is what, our third one?
I think so, because we did TGS, we did E3, and now we're doing Nintendo Switch!
I know, right? I was watching Maximilian's live stream last night, and I was interacting with the chat, because, I'm part of that chat community too. And then someone at one point brought up, information about the Nintendo NX, and I was like, I heard about that. Wait, I haven't heard anything about NX, and I checked some of my usual sources, and it's just like, NX, and then apparently it was just like, I checked Gamitsu that night after they said it, and Gamitsu was like, yeah, tomorrow on October the 20th. I'm like, that's a random-ass date for Nintendo.
Well, because, they decided they're going to put it out in March.
I know, right?
Like, bam! Here it is! Hope you guys like it.
I mean, whoa, what is it,
I like that a lot of people were right. It is a hybrid mobile and home console.
I'm kind of... We should start this off with probably mentioning the trailer that will probably be up on screen right now. And
yeah, it's probably playing in the background.
Yeah. But...
So that starts off with what? Legend of Zelda playing in the background, the Wild Beasts?
Yeah. That starts playing, and I believe then the guy, his dog wants to go out, so then he does that switch thing where he takes the two parts of the controller off and then slides them to the sides.
Yeah. I think that's actually really cool, and I'm kind of glad that they did that. I want to see, because that's, I think, what a lot of people wanted to see with the Wii U, because, that tablet, it was nice, but
Nintendo didn't
No.
Nintendo didn't market that, though, correctly. Like, they shouldn't have called it Wii U. They should have made it an entire different console, because the Wii aspect, people kept thinking, like, is this a peripheral for my Wii? Is this the console? What's going on? And
well, the way I look at it is I think it is just a peripheral now, especially with the NX. It's Wii U is just an extenuation of the Wii, whereas this new one is just brand new, with a fresh start. Don't have to worry about it.
But as the trailer goes on, as you guys are probably seeing, or you have already seen, he's able to then pick up it from its station holder.
Yes.
And the instant that happens, the game instantly switched over to the small screen. Now, here's the thing. That's pretty cool, but as we all know, with handhelds, they're not as powerful as the consoles. So, like, if you're going to play something like Hyrule Warriors, because Koei's on the list of backers.
Yeah.
That's a big downgrade, because we played Hyrule Warriors for the channel.
Yeah, we did. I was going to say, I checked, they actually, NVIDIA came out and confirmed that I think it's the same throughout the whole system. So the whole, that is on par with where it's going to be.
Okay, so if we took it from your TV, which can run at 1080p, does the screen at least
I think they're saying that, it's supposed to match up with it.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because that's a cool concept, but if, in mid that, something gets lost in connection, like a frame rate goes down if you're in the middle of a boss fight or something,
From what they're saying, it sounds like it's supposed to be just as powerful. Because that's what NVIDIA is suggesting. Don't know if that's 100% true.
We won't know until the rest of the world knows when they get their hands on it.
Until somebody can test it, we won't know exactly what's going on.
But ballsy statement, I think, going for a March release date. Not having anything between now and March that's really big in the gaming universe.
Well, I mean, there's not really much at the
no, I mean,
February
convention shows.
Oh, yeah.
There's no real big convention shows except, the electronic...
The beginning of the year is...
GDC.
GDC, yeah.
Yeah, that could be a spot. But, to me, that seems like... That's a weird opportunity. There was nothing at TGS, unless there was behind closed doors.
I think there's a lot more people... a lot more of the companies are realizing that they have to kind of set themselves apart from everybody else. They can't do it at E3. They can't do it at GDC. They can't do it at, TGS. They have to do it on their own. Because that's why, what was it? When they announced the PS4, they did it on a random day in February, and it was just like, why is this here? Okay, this is now all them. I get it. It's all by themselves. They can hold the whole floor and things like that.
Don't get me mistaken. I'm not talking about, they should have revealed the NX there. I'm just talking about, for consumers, there's no place for us or even other YouTubers who are, unless, in with Nintendo to get a physical hold of that. So literally, only information we'll get is from like people like the completionist, because he's really good with Nintendo and he gets early access with stuff, or Game Grumps, like YouTubers that have an established relationship with Nintendo will probably be able to get like first-hand impression of it, like God, I would say probably early next year before even it launches. But
wonderful helicopter.
I mean, that's the one
thing. Sorry, I was listening to what you're saying, that all I hear is that flying over.
Well,
so,
we're sorry.
But you know how it is.
Yeah, we're sorry, guys. Can't control that kind of stuff.
But yeah, I also love the fact that they boasted that they have a shit ton of third-party support, and they have a whole list.
I know, right?
And it's not just the usual people like Tecmo Koei who's just like, we'll hold ourselves out, except for Xbox, screw you guys.
Yeah, and Platinum too, like Square Enix, Ubisoft, some American companies.
505 Games, I think, said they're on there.
Yep.
Bethesda's on there.
Arc System Works said they're there.
Yeah. As you can see in the trailer, they play Skyrim, which, you know, like, okay, that's cool, but I'd rather see, I think, a more up-to-date game. Like, here's Fallout 4 on the NX. Well, that would be cool.
To be fair, that's probably like a testing ground, like
how
well Skyrim can run on it. Because if Skyrim can run good on it, well on it, then that means that opens them up now. Because let's be honest, guys, it's been like this since, what, Wii? PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 graphical powerhouses, anything that had to be ported to the Wii usually had to either deal with the nunchuck or had a graphical downgrade.
Yeah.
Even with the Wii U, it was still like anything that did go to the Wii U still had to do like a graphical downgrade. Not to
they were a lot better on the Wii U, but they weren't enough. Because I think they were just like, we just got to 1080p and 60 frames per second. It was like the 360 did that.
Exactly. But I think this is a good decision. And like the trailer, after the dog, then we see a guy walking into an airport where he runs into another person. Then we find out something interesting, which I didn't know what it was at the time when I watched it. It's a cartridge-based console now, which is a very interesting take.
Well, I'm not sure, because it looked like...
no, it's been confirmed that
it is a
cartridge-based, like when he opens the thing in the airport and he sticks that little red thing in there, that is a cartridge game.
Huh.
Nintendo confirmed with the people you were talking about that I think they're the ones that are producing or giving them that. So technically now it's going to be a console game / handheld that runs off of cartridges. So that's going to be interesting. So that means Zelda of the Wild, but those cartridges have to be like really strong though if they're going to be only able to have one, right? Like,
well, if you stop and think about it, I mean, there was a lot of information, a lot of stuff on the old cartridges themselves. You could do a lot more with them. And I mean, yeah, there were limitations, but you're now talking about what, 10, 20 years, not 20, but at least 15 years between the last cartridge game system and
home console game system?
Yeah, home console.
Yeah, but no, I think it'd be close to 30 years because NES.
No. What I'm saying is the Nintendo 64 was the last real cartridge one.
You're right. I'm sorry. That was the last real cartridge,
and that was like around 2000. So
yeah, that was late 90s, I believe.
Late 90s, early 2000s, because GameCube comes around like 2003, I think. Around there. Basically, what I'm saying is it's been a long time since we've had a cartridge-based system that's not been a handheld.
Exactly. So, yeah, and then as the game goes on, he talks with a girl, then he goes onto a plane, and they show that apparently the mobile part of the system has a little, what's that thing that...
They have a jack, so you can actually put the screen up, and then you can just play with the two little side nunchucks, which I think is pretty cool.
I don't know how to feel about that. I like controllers more because to me it's more responsive, but it's a nice concept, I'm not going to lie.
No. I like the idea that you don't have to hold it as a handheld. You can just have it as a controller if you want it on that small screen.
Yeah.
I don't see myself using it, but it's a nice feature.
It is.
If it works.
Exactly, if it works, like if it's able to produce like, because sometimes you're playing like Mass Effect or something, and you have to leave or something, but you want to keep playing it. You're like, maybe you got into a session and you're like, how cool would that be? I kind of like the concept they're going with. Like, hey, you're playing your game at home. You can pick it up and keep going. But my question is, because throughout the video we see like most of it not on the station, like, you know, not the home console. They mostly advertised the handheld version. So my question is, what I think Maximilian brought up in his reaction review was the battery life of that thing. Because if it's not hooked up to the home console version, which will feed off a power supply, that thing will have to have a decent battery life to support what's going to be running off of it.
Well, I mean,
like
3DS has like what, maybe a 12-hour?
If you turn off the 3D function, yeah. But then that's the question also, is like how graphically powerful, how bright the screen, and how all of that's going to feed into it, because that's also going to eat up the battery.
Well, there's a lot of things that'll be added into it, I'm sure. I mean, it probably is going to be like, look at it like a regular tablet itself. See how much that takes in power and things like that, and it might be I would suggest it's probably going to be a 12-hour.
I would like to say a 12-hour as a base, but since we don't know what it's going to run off of, speculation. I just hope it's not like original 3DS, which had like a 3-hour battery life with the 3D on, and about a 6-hour battery life without the 3D on.
I think that they understand that people are going to want that to be longer, so that they're not going to be like, and we're updating it. It's the Nintendo Switch. What the hell? I don't like that name, by the way.
Nintendo Switch Blade?
There we go.
I cut you, Sony. I'm going to cut you, Sony.
Exactly.
I was surprised that it was called Switch, but you know Nintendo, what was it? GameCube wasn't called GameCube. It was called something else.
Yeah, I mean...
And so was the Wii. That was called something entirely different before.
They all have code names, but I don't know. I just... The Switch, it just hits the ear wrong. Hey, we're going to go play the Switch?
I mean, it's not a name that really sticks out to me, but... Most of the things I've seen on either Dual Shockers or Gamitsu or any of the other sites I usually see, it's gotten mixed reviews. Like, some people are like, yeah, this is a great thing. Other people are like, this is stupid, you know? You got both sides of the fence, and then...
Well, I'm not saying the concept of the thing itself. I, as a person who doesn't usually play Nintendo or really likes Nintendo, I have to say that if this is where Nintendo wants to take gaming, I am willing to follow them, because that seems a lot more fun than VR and things like that.
Yeah. So then, what would you say, Mike? Would you say you're like in that happy middle, like probably the vast majority of us? Like, it's interesting, it's piqued your interest, but you're just like, you want to hold off until you see, like...
I think I'm back where I was with the Wii originally. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. I don't think it might benefit them. I don't think it's going to benefit them the most, but I am willing to let them, let them go and do what they want, see if it works. If it turns out to be a success, I will happily bandwagon onto it. If it's a failure like the Wii U, I will happily keep exposing just keep saying my negativity towards it. But, so far, I would say it's actually interesting, and I would probably pick it up. Maybe not an early adapter, but I would down the line if I saw what games they had, and if I was like, oh, I really want to play that.
You know what? I'm in that same camp too. It's piqued my interest because I like what you said. I like the concept of it. You know, like being able to pick up, take the game I'm playing, and take it on the road. Yeah. Like, that's interesting, but.
Oh, they also had multiplayer. We forgot to mention.
They did.
You can hand one of the little nunchucks to the other person. You can play together on the thing because you can set the screen up, and then.
That's a nice idea. That's a really good idea on Nintendo's part.
From what I read though, I think there's a limit of how many they can do.
Yeah.
Because they said I think you can do more than just the 2, but it's a little bit harder and. They didn't really get into details about it. They just said, so far they know for sure you can do 2, and you might have to have a second, do a link system to get both of them to work, to get all 4 players.
Makes sense.
You know.
But I would, back to my point, I would say I'm in that medium like everyone else is right now, like the vast majority of us. It's like, it's piqued my interest to a certain extent, but I'm not gonna early adapt because I don't think there's gonna be any early titles that I'll really want. Like, Mario's nice and all, but I haven't played a Mario game in years. And I'm not a Zelda fan, so that doesn't entice me at all.
Come on, Mike, it's a new Zelda game. I don't like Zelda. What type of blasphemy is this bullshit? But yeah, like, if they announced something that I just did not see coming, and I was like, I really want to play that on the NX, I would totally play it. Yes, I'm going to keep calling it the NX. I don't like the name Switch, so I hope everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say it.
You know, that this brings up an interesting point with the companies that are involved, like Square, Capcom, Tecmo Koei, Platinum Games. It could be interesting to have a Platinum-style game running on a handheld like device that runs really well like console. Like, could you imagine?
That would be interesting.
Because that's like, if you're going to tell me, okay, Bayonetta 3, because Bayonetta 2 is never going to be not on the Wii U because Nintendo helped fund that game. So just like Street Fighter 5 is never not going to be on anything but the PlayStation 4. That when a company pays to have that game made, when other developers are like, or publishers are like, no, they essentially,
or I'm sure they did want to get involved, but Capcom was like, here's what I need, and maybe Microsoft or Nintendo to give them the right offer, and Sony was just like, here, shing 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 shing.
Yeah, well, Sony did directly put money into the development of it.
Well,
so
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I'm sure Microsoft was like, yeah, I will help you out, but I'm not giving you money, and Sony was like, I'll give you money.
But this is what I'm thinking, because Platinum Games, essentially right now we can think of Bayonetta as like a Wii kind of exclusive now since Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, it's
like
sort of.
Nintendo.
I mean, if Platinum decided to do Bayonetta 3 on the NX, I would be more inclined probably to pick up the NX.
I would too, and we would probably play it for the channel.
Yeah.
Just like we're going to play Bayonetta 2 one day.
Yeah, eventually.
But it was better than I thought. I was not discouraged by what I saw, but I also am not like blind, you guys did it, like your magnum opus is now. I'm like, no, I like the idea and what you're doing, but I'm not going to be sold until I see it like running, like you have it like a YouTuber or someone has physically in their hands.
And even though I hate GameStop, until I can go to GameStop and play the thing, I am not going to be like, this is the greatest thing in the world!
Yeah, because right now, they don't even have pre-orders up for NX. They have, like, on every site, it's email for more information. And it's like, okay, but I feel like now, in this generation of consoles especially, early adapters get screwed.
They do. Xbox early adapters always get screwed. Yeah. Let's be honest, because it's the early, adaptation. You have either no games, or you have really crappy games, or you have games that had high ideas but never fulfilled them correctly,
or the console itself,
or the console itself,
like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Now we're getting Xbox. We got Xbox Slim and PlayStation 4 Slim and PlayStation Pro and Xbox One Scorpions on the horizon,
and you get all these extra ones, and it's like, well, we need to upgrade them because we want VR on there. Well, I don't care about VR.
And they're just like, PlayStation Pro now has a terabyte of hard drive. I'm like, I ordered a 2 terabyte hard drive to put in my PlayStation 4. I'm not getting rid of that unless you tell me you're going to give me another 2 terabyte. To move all my stuff onto the console.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, you kind of get what you pay for. Yeah, you can have it at the beginning and be first and be ready and be happy, or you can, wait and then get the best offer. But
I was okay with being an early adapter for my PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, but NX, I feel like all it's going to have at launch is the Zelda. We know for a fact is going to be a launch title because they've talked about it.
Zelda, it looks like a Mario game, a Mario 3D game, so not a 2D one.
But we don't know how far along that is because, like I said, I can't
Skyrim,
trust that.
I think is going to be at launch because they have it in the trailer playing full on. So,
but that's the question though. Like, I don't think the people in the commercial were playing the games because it didn't look like they were playing the games, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sometimes it looked like it was just like they were there and just hitting buttons.
Yeah, and the game was like pre-recorded footage running off. See, that's why I want to wait until like we see...
Until we get like here's a live demo of what the thing does. you can say maybe there's some tampering, but at that point,
Exactly.
it's like this is
like a Nintendo Direct. If Nintendo does a Nintendo Direct sometime in November that shows off the NX running untampered, then I'll be a little more on board with like, okay, all right, this looks real. It doesn't look like the trailer where it looks like, it's just the games plastered on the screen pretending to run.
I think there was a Nintendo Direct, so if we didn't watch that, sorry guys, if there is a Nintendo Direct that shows us these things, then, we plead ignorance. We didn't watch Nintendo Direct, as we said. We're not big Nintendo fans. So.
Yeah, and Bob is not here with us, so he wouldn't be able to tell us if we missed anything. But this is pretty much what we've scrounged today, which is November the 20th when we're recording this.
Yes, the day when was revealed.
Yep. So literally at this point, unless other information has been explained, as of this recording, we do not know. So again...
Well, let's see. I only found like 3 or 4 articles that I was like, this is kind of worth to actually look at. Clickety click, click, click.
Yeah, but it's mostly the same articles talking about like the backers,
all the people are gonna put the game into it.
Yep, the spec,
powered by Tegra processor.
Exactly, stuff like that. But
it's one of the top. Nvidia is saying this is from DualShockers. Mentioning that the console will be powered by a custom Tegra chip included a NVIDIA GPU based on the same architect as the world's top-performing GeForce gaming graphic cards. So it is a higher-end one, it looks like.
Alright. But then the question becomes, how much is this console going to be?
Yeah, it's got to be cheap. I mean, not cheap, but...
But, yeah, obviously, it's not going to be...
It's got to be comparable.
Exactly.
Like, Wii was, I think, like $200 compared to when Sony and...
Yeah, but Nintendo took losses on that. Like, to sell it at that price for probably the technology they had invested into it, that was probably a loss to sell for them.
Yeah, but they also outsold everybody. And I think that's where they got them.
The Wii U? Wii U
No, the Wii.
No, I was talking about the Wii U.
I was talking about the original Wii. Oh. The original Wii was, I think, $200 compared to, like, PlayStation. It was like, here, put $1,000 into this thing.
Yeah,
it's right? That's like a paperweight. And then Xbox was like, we'll meet you in the happy middle.
And now
it reversed.
I know, right? But
Xbox is like, here's this huge paperweight.
I think that'll do it about the NX because, like we said, no other crucial information has surfaced at this point.
So far, that's the big info.
So now...
But this week, we also had another reveal, which I am extremely happy about. Red Dead 2.
Yeah, I saw that, and like I said, as of this recording, I uploaded that stuff on our Facebook and Twitter, specifically mentioning that you would be happy about this, because I know how much you like Rockstar and their games.
I love Rockstar games. I especially love Red Dead because about the time that Red Dead came out... little backstory. There's a character I created in Mass Effect called Dragon Man. Dragon Man has been a overarching character for many of my RPG characters, and in Red Dead, he was also ridiculous because I was trying to get achievements with him, so I was using dynamite to kill big cats because I was fucking around. And I hope that kind of thing is back in Red Dead 2. From what I can see in the trailer, as I'm sure it's now playing, so you guys can see it. I think it's a prequel, which I think is nice.
I don't know much about Red Dead because I didn't play Red Dead Redemption, but from what I understand is, spoiler alerts, I believe John Marston dies in the end, right? And then,
yes.
And then at the very end, his son comes back and kills the guy who framed him, or had the U.S. Marshals.
Yeah, so the entire plot of Red Dead is that you're John Marston, you're an ex-bank hunter, you have to kill all the people you used to bank rob with. At the end, you were doing this because the government forced you to. At the end of the game, after killing the last guy, you have a little bit of happiness where you're living your life, and then the government comes and kills John Marston. His son and wife survive. The son grows up. After the wife dies, he basically decides he's going to take revenge on the government. He finds the guy who did it and executes him. And then that's the end of the game.
Yeah. So
spoilers, definitely.
So, I don't know. I think
But the way they, I don't mean to cut you off, but the way they say the trailer, they show you many different things going on. It's still in the older times. When you're at the end of the game, you're in like 1920. You're older. It's the end of the Western era. In this, it seems like you're back still in like the late 19th century, early 20th century. With that being said, too, you also hear, I think it is the main villain, or not the main, one of the main villains of Red Dead, Dutch, and he's talking about bank robbing. And it seems like this game is going to be all about bank robbing, which I really want. I really want that.
I would say, but since I'm not a big fan of Rockstar games or GTA, they could also go the route of GTA. Like, most GTAs don't consistently have the same protagonists. It's just like GTA 3's protagonist doesn't show up in GTA 4, or there's a continuation of his story.
I agree with you on that, but the way I kind of see it is that this might be a harken back to Red Dead Revolver.
Which is the textual, which everyone...
Which is the first one.
In the series.
But that was Capcom's game.
That was?
Yes. Capcom owned Red Dead Revolver, and Rockstar bought the Red Dead series off of them.
Huh.
So, I could see this being Red Dead Redemption 2 is just the prequel to the first game, and you can do basically the things you did in the first game, where, like, you're bank robbing, you met a bunch of people.
Until John Marston's early years story.
Yeah.
To me personally,
you train robbed, you did things like that.
I don't know. To me, that's cool, but I feel like John Marston's story was played. I didn't play it, but from what I understand, it had enough story, and it feels like you got enough of his backstory in life.
Yeah, you got
that you understood, where he was, what he did, what got him to where he is.
I think it'd be nice if John Marston isn't the main character, because in the other one, I think the main character was a guy named Red. And
I'm just saying,
I didn't play that much. If you ask Josh will talk your ear off about it, but
I'm just thinking that if I was Rockstar Games, I would make this like, it's cool to set it in like the heart of the Midwest, before John Marston got famous, but like, I would rather it be a different guy's name, like a different tale of...
I would like that too.
But it would be interesting... Sorry about the
no,
guy. But it would be interesting to me if you could see, like, little John Marston, or like a young John Marston, or a young villain, to like, just be like, hey, in the future, like, that's John Marston, like, give a little nod that maybe this kid you find... in one mission.
Yeah, or you're basically playing as Dutch, and then you're raising John Marston, because in the... They mentioned that a little bit.
Excuse me.
Bless you. They mentioned that a little bit, that, Dutch was like a father to John Marston, so maybe that's how that plays out. But,
yeah, but at this time, all we got is a trailer where I've watched it too, where the guy talks about, I guess, bank robbing, and then it ends with... What is that? 2, 4, 6, 7 guys riding off on horses into the desert.
That's why I suggest that it's probably going to be it's going to be kind of like a game where you bank rob and things like that, because you have a whole squad of people with you, and why would you have a whole squad of people back then? Unless they do like an entire turn on the head of this game, and you're now hunting down bank robbers, which I think would be stupid. And the reason why I say that is because here's something I think that a lot of games are having a problem with nowadays. There's a lot of shooters, but they're not really unique. They're all pretty much cookie cutter. They're all set in either the modern times, crime games are all set in either the 80s, the 90s, or today. And if you had a crime game that was set in the 1800s, back in the times of Lucky Luciano, Al Capone, and people like this, I think it'd be a lot more fun, because you're doing it at a time where crime was basically an art. You weren't doing it for proficiency. You were doing it because you were fucking with people. Well, like John Dillinger and things like that.
Well, I think the way I look at it is that if it's a crime game, technically the Old West is the best place to do it, because back then the law was nowhere to be found. Like, you had corrupt sheriffs, or people who tried to do the right things usually were gunned down by mobs. Like, this is the type of era they're going in is a very ruthless type of area where only like, you know, the strong or people who were willing to make the sacrifice became, you know, top dog.
Yeah, that's why I would like this time period. It's not that I would like, oh, this time period is the best time period, because you're in the Great Depression and things like that, but I think that it's a time that's not touched by games. Like, yeah, we now have Battlefield World War I, but let's be honest, when you look at how that game plays, it's just a modern, you know, shooter with old-timey weapons. There's no real, like, oh my god, this is what World War I was like.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, this is what, you know, World War I was interpreted as.
Exactly. Sorry about that, guys. I closed the window to make sure we wouldn't have to hear the neighbors bouncing the basketball.
Playing the sports ball. But I think that would be nice for Red Dead. I don't know what's going to happen. It looks like there's a lot of, like, what they show in the trailer, it seems like it's going to be a lot of the stuff that was in the first one. There's a town, you can barter, you can go hunting, you can go robbing, doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Which I hope is still there. I think it's probably one of the best parts of the game. It's still open world. I just don't know exactly what the plot is or what's going on.
I guess closing statements for me would be the way I see 7 people, I'm instantly drawn to multiplayer. Like, I think they might do something multiplayer-wise because
they do have a lot of multiplayer stuff going on because Sony Interactive and Rockstar Games have announced a partnership on Red Dead 2. PlayStation 4 will get access to select online content. So basically, it seems like they're doing what they're doing with GTA 5, where they're going to have, you know, you know how they promised they were going to have heists and things like that on multiplayer, but they didn't get around to it. But yeah, it sounds like that's what they're going to do in this one too.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. I didn't read the full article. I just watched the trailer, so that was just what I gleaned from it. But yeah, I guess those were my closing thoughts. What are your closing thoughts on all this?
My closing thoughts: I'm excited for Red Dead. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great. I think this is a step in the right direction. It breaks up the monotony of a lot of games recently. I want to see more, but I don't think I will until, like, maybe the Game Awards, VGAs. But right now, this gets me excited enough that, you know, I can't wait for it. So.
All right. So, and as for the NX, you pretty much got our speech on it. We're both pretty much in that middle ground, you know.
Yeah, with the NX, I think that it has a lot of promise, a lot of good starts. It's going to be what it is. I think until, like, maybe it won't be E3. I was going to say, E3 will get a lot more... No, wait.
Nah.
It's coming out before E3. I think until we get to the date it comes out, and then E3 probably will seal the deal, because then it'll be like, here's all these games that are coming.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same category.
I think they need to do a lot of Nintendo Directs. They need to tell us what games are coming out, when they're coming out, you know, why we should buy the NX.
I agree.
The Switch, as they're calling it.
I agree full-heartedly. Well, guys, we've talked your ear off for...
a good almost 40 minutes.
So, we're going to cut it here. Sorry that this ran even longer than we thought.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a discussion thing. It is. So.
And also, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to us. Also, sharing the video helps us out a lot. It helps out the channel. And if you want to talk to us, please feel free to leave a comment down at the below about what's your whole thoughts on, like, Red Dead and the NX. And also, if you want to hit us up on our Facebook and Twitter, that will be in the description as well.
That's a good way to get in touch with us.
Yeah, and we want to talk to you guys. Like, this is a discussion-based video. We would like to have discussions. And
what do you guys think?
Exactly. What are you guys thinking? All right, then. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you stuck around this long, you know, I really appreciate it. Like, we really like doing this.
That appreciated sound like you were being sarcastic. Like,
I know.
We really appreciate it.
I know.
You sons of bitches. Why are you listening to us?
No, but, you know, me and Mike like doing this kind of stuff, talking about this. And we hope to do more of this in the future. And we hope you guys will look forward to it, too. And we hope to hear back from you. And this is running way too long.
We've been saying this all...
Yeah, we're running in circles.
Bye, guys. Bye.